What is up, guys? This is Oddjob Entertainment bringing you another video. And a few months ago, I set out to make the world's best sim chair for Star Citizen. And if you're watching this video, that means that I did it. And today, I'm going to show you how. The first thing we need is a 3D model to start from. So I hopped into SolidWorks and designed a chair. This is for the Mark I. The chair that I am sitting on recording in is the Mark II. So there was a few changes made between these. The Mark I is what my dad would receive as a birthday gift, and I ended up changing the design of the armrests in favor of something that is constructed out of 2020 extrusion and using 2020 extrusion across the bottom for support. And then instead of this wooden bracket, I would later have to redesign this to be made out of metal in both the Mark I and the Mark II. This was not strong enough. But aside from that, this file gives you all the cuts that you need to make in order to replicate this on your own. And I will be making the SolidWorks file available to anyone interested so that you can follow along and make your own chair. Cut, glue, sand, stain, put on epoxy. And just like that, you'll have a chair. No, but seriously, guys, there are plenty of tutorials on how to make a chair, so I will leave you to the much better resources. You will have my SolidWorks files if you want to copy my design, but assuming that you know how to make a chair, I'm going to focus on the things that make this one special. So let's talk about these armrests. They're constructed out of 2040 extrusion for the vertical sections. The ends of the extrusions were tapped so that I could use a bolt to fix them to a 10x4 piece of wood that has foam and fabric glued and then stapled onto it. The vertical sections were then fixed to a horizontal bar that would go across the bottom of the chair. The swinging arms of the armrests are made out of 2020 extrusion. I would recommend making them out of 2040 extrusion, as that will improve the rigidity, and that's a future upgrade that I plan to do but do not have done on the finished chair at this time. The 2020 extrusion is mounted to the 2040 extrusion by use of a 180-degree joint. There are two of them fixed to a smaller piece of 2020 extrusion that is going vertical to meet at a corner bracket with the horizontal section of 2020 extrusion, as you can see in the photo. After you've constructed your armrests, it was a pretty simple matter of attaching mine to the bottom of the base plate with some JB Weld, and they are sandwiched between the base plate for the seat piston that I salvaged from a $10 chair that I got at Savers, and the metal bracket that connects the backrest to the seat pan. With that, the chair is pretty much done. There is one more feature that I want to show off that most chairs will not have, and that is the coolant line. Alright guys, here's hoping you can hear me over the AC in the background. I just wanted to document this part because it will be much harder to show you what I've done in the future. You can see some of it is peeling up, so hot glue is not up to the task for this, but I've got some E6000 that I'm going to be using instead. What are these? These are coolant lines. So this will be for a future phase of the project. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel to see when that goes into place. But I'm putting the foundation in now so that I will be able to add a cooling system to this chair after it is built. Because I don't want to reupholster it at that point, I'm putting in the cooling lines now. So that's what these are. There's really nothing to it. It's just some vinyl tubing. Get a good diameter that is easy to find parts for, and you just want to make sure that you have pretty even coverage. Bonus points if it's symmetrical, but it obviously doesn't really matter that it's symmetrical as long as it's more or less the same density all throughout, or at increased density in the hot spots, like where your butt and where your head is going to be and where your butt's going to be. So there you go. See ya. You know those moments where you think you're almost done recording a video and then you realize that your mic wasn't on the whole time and didn't capture your audio recordings? Those are the moments I live for. Anyways, back to the question at hand. Why did I make this chair? Well, to be honest, I built it to compete directly with Monster Tech. Now, I'm a very small YouTuber. I realize that my reach is not that big. But Monster Tech came out with the Blackbird chair, and I think it's a great option for the right kind of person. But that person is not me. I'm a college student trying to be baller on a budget, and I needed a cheaper option, and I thought that I could improve on the features a little bit. MonsterTech has some great hardware that is very rigid, very solid, but their adaptability in particular with the Blackbird, I think fails to meet some metrics that I think that if they had pushed a little further, they could have easily met. And the biggest thing is I don't feel like their mounts, the quick detach ones that allow you to move the joysticks off to the side, I don't think they move far enough. Having it just out to your side doesn't really mean that the joysticks are out of sight, out of mind. They're still pretty visible, and they're kind of in the way, I feel like. If you were to swing your elbows out or do any movements, you're going to hit them. So I wanted my joysticks to be completely out of sight, out of mind when they are not in use. So putting them 180 degrees behind me accomplishes that. The chair, it comes in substantially cheaper than the Blackbird, and albeit it does have its flaws, like I mentioned, the seat pan needs some work to make it super comfortable for my butt, but those are pretty minor compared to the total cost of a Blackbird flight system. For the right person, I think MonsterTech has made a great product, but I'd love to see a cheaper option, and I think that they can iterate on the features a bit more. So if anything, this video is not to rag on MonsterTech, but maybe in some way provide some inspiration or motivation for the Blackbird 2. And if I can do that, that's a win for me. But if you guys like this content, you know what to do. Like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. Let me know what you think. In the future, we will be finishing up the coolant system and adding some other major and minor upgrades. But until then, this is Odd Job Entertainment, signing off.